What you cooking, Mom?
Fucking cut.
Now I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go purchase one. That's the problem.
This ain't for me. I was like,
the background is mom and dad was addicted to crack cocaine. Okay. Right?
Shirt jump up. All right. Ready? Uh-oh, that boy gave me the finger. There you go. All praises to the Most High. Hi, how are you? I am Doc Holliday, host of the Doc Holliday Show, and welcome to another episode of the Doc Holliday Show, where we love to uplift black men, black woman, black teen, black child, black royalty, and I am joined by another black royal today, Miss Lashaunda Hawkins. Miss Hawkins, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for joining us here on the Doc Holliday Show. First of all, don't worry about talking to the people. Talk to me.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where you from? What neighborhood? Just tell me where you from.
I'm from Memphis. I'm from Walker Home. I'm an author. I write books. I got a cosmetic line, Kiss by Pay Cosmetics, and I'm actually in the process of working on my movie right now and a play.
All that. Now, hold on. Tell me about the cosmetic line again. What's the name of it?
Kiss by Pay. It's after my daughter, my 3-year-old.
Okay, I love that. Now, going back to Walker Homes, tell me about your upbringing. Siblings, parents. Tell us about that.
My mom has 7 children, 2 deceased. My brother is serving life plus 25 in prison. It was crazy growing up or whatever. I jumped out here real early, like 13 to 14, and my mom really didn't have much or whatever. It was my stepdad that worked and handled all the bills. So my mom had to do what he said. So I'm like, man, I had a good upbringing, but it was kind of rough. We had some rough patches too, financially. So I don't know.
Tell me about them rough patches growing up, because I tell people now, even though we're not the finished product, you're not the finished product, but you're doing a lot of great things now. But in order to get to this point, you had a lot of things you had to overcome.
Yes.
So talk about those rough patches growing up, because you're not the only one who's going through that. So they'll see you and be inspired by that.
At 13, I lost my sister to full-blown AIDS. So having to be a 13-year-old, having to change diapers and clean the IV and put her in a tub, there was a lot for a 13-year-old. Just having to see my sister deteriorate over time, it was that was very hard for me, being 13, and just seeing the last stages of AIDS and what it does to the person. It's horrible. It's horrible.
And not only talking about that, just I guess the environment around, because I grew up not close, close to Walker Homes. I got a lot of good friends from Walker Homes, so I understand being in that inner city environment, all these temptations and obstacles you have to overcome. Talk about some of that and how rough it is growing up in the inner city, and a lot of things that you have to try to kind of maneuver your way around.
Well, I feel like if I had a father figure at that time, I wouldn't have made a lot of decisions and choices that I made. My first time meeting my dad, I was about 12, and my mom made me go. I resented her for a long time. And she's like, you gonna go with your dad? And I'm like, man, I don't want to go with this man. I don't even know him. Mm-hmm. So she was like, go spend the weekend with your dad. So I'm like, okay. That was horrible. I wanted to go home. I complained a lot. I was like, I'm just ready to go, because I don't know him. Mm-hmm. I'm 12. It took you 12 years to come into my life. So I kept complaining about wanting to go home. And I remember him. I remember that situation to this day clear. I was sitting on the couch, and he had been drinking. And I kept complaining. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go home. And I guess he was getting mad. And he got up and he hit me in my face like a man. And I think, to me, sometimes I feel like my dad opened up doors to abuse for me, because I'm a survivor of domestic violence. So after that, I hated him for a long time, because that was my first time meeting you, and that's how you treated me. So I didn't want anything to do with him.
And talk about, what did that put you in an emotional state?
It put me in a dark place, because I always wanted a relationship with my dad. So, you being a kid, you meeting your dad for the first time, you already hesitant, like, I don't know this man, but I'm going to try it out. Mm-hmm. And that's a day I never forget. My dad fought me like a man. if it wasn't for his girlfriend, she intervened and she was like, "Get your hands off of her." You know, it was real bad for me.
How did that affect you, I guess, having that relationship and that encounter? Because it does affect a kid.
I think that affected me as I continued to move forward in life with men. Because right after that, I got pregnant with my daughter at 16. And her dad shot at me, and the bullets grazed the left side of my head. So at a point in time, I felt like that was okay. You know, I felt like, you know, he loved me. I feel like, you know, this abuse is okay. You know, long as he don't kill me. But even when he came to kill me, I looked at it because I'm still young. I was just 17. I was like, well, I didn't die. You know, I had that immature mindset. So I'm like, I'm okay. And I kept going back and forth because my family was so divided. So financially, he was there. You know, I was in school. I was still in school. I was in 12th grade. So he took care of uniforms, books, paper, all of that. And plus, he was 25 years older than me.
25 years older than you. Not 25 years old, 25 years older than you. Okay.
Like my dad age.
Okay.
First drink, first smoke, first everything.
And let me ask you this, because, I mean, there are other young girls and women that are going through similar situations. Do you think the fact of the lack of relationship you had with your dad had you seek out an older guy?
Yes, because like I said, my mom was in the home. You know, my mom didn't work. You know, my stepdad worked. And we barely didn't get along because I really wanted a relationship with my dad, but it just didn't go like that. And I still say to this day that my dad opened up abuse. Because my dad was very abusive to women. He was abusive to my mom. He has a history of domestic violence with women. And so that's why I tell people that we have to be careful what we do now because it might not get you, but if you got children, your children can catch it on down the line. So that's why I'm real mindful today of what I do and the decisions I make because it might bypass me and my kids to get it. So.
And just dealing with that, the domestic abuse with your dad and just being in that situation, then get into abusive relationships. How did that frame, I guess, some of the decisions and mistakes that you made? Because it's a lot of women think that's okay. And a lot of punk ass dudes think that's okay too to be putting your hand. And I'm gonna say, put me on too. Putting your hands on a woman, man, that's the weakest shit you could ever do. We don't do that.
Okay.
Exactly.
It's never okay.
So tell me, how did that make, mold, I guess, decisions you made to where you think, because they push you in a lifestyle and a frame of mind that you think this is okay, so then you start making other mistakes.
To be honest with you, I felt like I had to deal with it because he was taking care of me. I was still a kid. He was taking care of me financially. Like, I didn't have a job. I'm finna have this man baby, so I'm like, my mom actually wanted to put him in jail. I remember a time where he had fought me, and my mom actually was finna kill him. And I'm glad she didn't, because I would have felt bad, my mom sitting in jail for killing him. But it was crazy. I went through some rough patches with that man. Today we're in a better space today because I'm older. I'm a woman now. I'm not a little girl anymore. So I just want people to know that abuse is never okay. Like, it's never okay. Toxic is toxic.
Is that one of the messages I guess you give when you talk to?
Toxic is toxic. Let it go. Let it go. But I had a good support system that prayed. I had people praying for me that I get out of that relationship with that man because I feel like I had this child with him. I'm young. I'm attached to him. So I'm like, man, I can't leave this man. And it's like when I try to leave, he would get more abusive. Like I remember even a time where I hit my baby. My daughter, she's actually about to be 17. She was like a little bitty baby. I hit her on my arm, and he was so upset with me. I don't remember. And he hit me in my jaw, and he tore 2 ligaments in my left jaw. And I remember having to call my sister. I was like, please, can you play like you mama? Because I'm at the hospital. And
if that Tasha over there is another one. That's another one. Okay.
Another one.
Right,
I said, can you please play mama? Because if mama find out about these, mama's going to, like, kill him, like, for real. So my sister played mama, because they was like, where your mom at? I was like, let me call my sister right quick. I was like, can you please? But my sister was so angry. But I feel like he was all that I need. I got this baby by him. Like, I love this man. You got to think about being a young girl. Everything I did with him was first. So he had that control over me. My mind, my body, he was very controlling.
And what do you tell, I guess, young girls who in similar situations? Because when I was in high school, we saw the grown-ass dudes coming picking up the girls. Like, God dang, bro. You damn near 50, man. She's 16, 17,
it's
but
happening.
They selling dope. They got the loot, and that's, it looks attractive. So what do you tell, young girls who in similar situations?
Man, please don't fall for it. Please.
But that's easy to say, though.
But the money is the bait. The money is what's going to bait you in. And it's going to become a control thing, because that's how he baited me in. It was money. Uniforms, books, paper, things that I needed for school. So that was the bait. And then he started having control over me. Whatever I say goes. And I started looking at him actually as a father figure. It's crazy, but because he was older, and everything that I wanted my dad to do, he was actually doing it for me financially. Because my dad was living his best life. I was the child that my dad didn't want.
Wow. I mean, I know that had to negatively impact you as well. How many kids did your dad have? Or does he have?
It's probably a lot.
A lot?
Yeah.
But how is that, though? Because you're seeing that he has these other kids.
Well, he actually got great relationships with the other kids. It's just me.
That's what I was how did that make you feel?
Think about it. I was the one that he didn't want.
Mm-hmm. So, how did that affect your decisions?
It affected me bad, because I always wanted, like, why didn't he want me? Do my dad love me? And so I started looking for love and men.
That's why I was going with that.
For love and men.
And that caused you to make some decisions.
Poor decisions. But you know what? I wouldn't even take anything back, because I wouldn't be here in this chair right now talking to you. So I had to go through that. But now that I know better, I have a daughter. I have a 17-year-old, and I have a 3-year-old. I'm their protector, so I protect them at all times, because I know this is happening, because it was happening then. And it was probably happening when my mama was younger, so I'm just a big protector of my daughters. I know my son, he got it. He's 16. But my daughters, I keep a close eye on them, because I know it's some sick people. And, when I look back, I'm like, well, it wasn't nothing wrong with it, but now that I got kids, I'm like, it's a lot wrong with it. It's a lot wrong with grown men wanting children. It don't matter how grown the girl acts, she's still a kid, because they have their kid mindset.
And just doing that, because I know we briefly talk, even dealing with the domestic violence with your dad, and then being in an abusive relationship. You made other mistakes as well. Yeah,
I was a smart girl, graduated with honors from Mitchell High School, but it was still a side of me that wanted a taste of this other life. I'm like, I got curious. I started having friends, going down to New Orleans dancing. So I'm like, okay, I'm kind of tired of being a little lying girl. So I want to, get a taste of this street life. So, I started stripping for a while, and man, it was fun. I loved it. The money was fast, and I didn't have to clock in no 9 to 5. I made my own rules. I can get up when I want to, go make money when I want to. And that was my way, actually, to be honest with you. I felt like I had been used by men, so I finna use y'all for what I want, because y'all use me for what I want. So that's how I got in that field with stripping for a while.
But because a lot of young girls feel that way, but it's the downside to that too now.
Yeah, it's a lot of it. It's not a glamorous life. Because a lot of times I had to be high, or I had to be intoxicated to go dance and make money. It's not all what it appeared to be.
And that's the thing, and that's one, because we're gonna get to your accomplishments. But I love the backstory, because all of us have gone through something and made mistakes. Now, I poured out just some of mine. I don't even dare, all the stuff I did. But I'm just saying, but just talking about that, from stripping and doing the drugs and all that, I'm pretty sure that caused you to get into some trouble as well.
Yeah, it did. I actually tried to commit suicide 3 times, because I just did not want to live anymore, because everything was just hitting me at one time. Like, I got these kids and their dads over here, and I'm this single parent. It was just a lot at one time. I done been homeless with them. Like, me and the big kids, we went through a lot of things together. So it's like, when I look at them, a lot of people say they my little brother and sister, but we actually grew together. And I went through another relationship after that. Once I finally got her dad out of my system, but that was the longest relationship that I was in. It was 7 years, but it was definitely abuse in that too. And I put up with it again because I didn't have that close support system from my family. So he was like the provider. You know, he actually took me out of the strip club when he met me. He didn't want me to dance no more because I was making my own money. So I think that I got comfortable. And things started out real good, but the abuse started happening. But I stayed quiet because I'm like, everybody thought that we was this picture perfect couple, you know, like the Bonnie and Clyde. When you saw him, you saw me on the right-hand side of him. But I was going through hell. I was going through hell, and my kids were seeing it, and they was getting older, you know. And he was really like a father figure to the big kids. But I couldn't have it no more because people started seeing my face. And then I had to start wearing makeup to cover up the black eyes and stuff. And then it got real bad where, you know, he had hit me in my head with the urn. And then I started going to the hospital. He was like damaging me. And I was like, you know, I got to figure out a way to get out of this. I knew that I couldn't go to my family because they really wasn't the support. He was in the streets, you know what I'm saying? He was taking care of the business and stuff like that. If I'd had a job, just a little job to cover up the lifestyle that we was living at that time. So I just got tired of it, and I went to jail. And I believe that's what saved me, because I probably would have been dead, because it was that much fighting going on where somebody was going to die, either me or him. Somebody was going to die. Like, it was bad. Guns was being pulled, and, you know, it was rough. And then, you know, it got real bad that when I did try to leave, he would come looking for me. So I had to go places where I know he wouldn't know I would be. So I'm going to go back to jail. Jail saved me because I would have been still in a relationship with him. So when I went to jail, because we got to fighting, I wanted my clothes and my kids' clothes out of the storage, and he wouldn't give it to me. And so he was like, I'm not giving you nothing. You know, you pay me the money that I pay for the storage. And I was like, my kids don't have no clothes. You know, me and him don't have any kids together. So I'm like, my kids don't have no clothes. Can you just please get the kids their clothes or whatever? You ain't got to worry about me. I give me some more clothes, but my kids need their clothes. And he was like, okay, follow me to the back of the storage. I said, okay, cool. So when I went to the back and I got out the car, that's when he struck me. He struck me so hard. My kids was in the car. They was probably about 7 or 8 at the time. But I know they remember because my daughter, my oldest daughter, she brings it up, and she always tell me that she hates him. And he struck me. He hit me so hard, he knocked me on the ground. I blacked out. And he was like, I'm not giving you
shit.
I ain't giving you shit.
Yeah.
I just was lost for words. So we're fighting, and the lady from the front, she ended up calling the sheriff at the time out there in Raleigh. She called the sheriff, and they came, and it was so crazy because he didn't go to jail. I did. So when they got on the scene, they said I was the aggressor. But I was trying to explain to them, look, I was just, you know, I'm trying to show them the text messages and stuff. They like, we don't want to hear it with you. Because I think him and the woman at the time at the storage, there was the clerk, him and her had something going. Mm-hmm. I didn't know. I found that later on down the line that they had something going. But she lied and made it seem like it was me. So I was like, you know, y'all can run the cameras back. Y'all run the cameras back. They would not run the cameras back. And I was showing them pictures, you know, or whatever. They didn't want to hear nothing that I had to say. They said, you got 10 minutes to call somebody to come get your kids, or we finna take your kids. So I'm like, wait a minute, why am I going to jail and he's not going to jail? He struck me first. They said that he was bleeding, his glasses was broken, he had visible bruises. But I'm like, okay, I was trying to get him off of me. He was choking me, and he was punching me in my face. They didn't want to hear none of it. They told me I got 10 minutes to get somebody on the phone. Come get your kids. So I'm scrambling. I'm like, who I'm finna call? I called my best friend at the time. She at work, so I called my little sister on my dad's side, actually. And I said, can you please come up here and come get my kids? I said, I really ain't got time to explain what happened up here, over there, but I'm finna go to jail. I call you from jail. Just come get my kids. So I sent her the location. So they was like, well, step out the car, you know, you're being on arrest. And then the look that he gave me, he laughed in my face. Like, okay, B, you know. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, you could at least got my kids and took them to their grandmama. No, he did not. But the whole time, the reason why he wouldn't let me get anything out of the story is because he had moved on with his life with an ex-friend of mine.
Oh, wow. So all those situations, domestic abuse, family abuse, going to jail. And I know you mentioned sometimes, you know, you've been a victim of sexual abuse as well.
Yeah, with one of my family members about 4 years ago. And that devastated me because you don't think with your family will even pull that type of stuff on you. You know, you're supposed to feel protected. You know, family protect each other, love each other. But when that day, I'll never forget that day, July 7th, 2017. That was the worst day of my life. I have never been violated. I done worked in a strip club. You know, everybody know what go on in a strip club. But I have never been violated where somebody took something from me, and that was the worst day. And I remember telling God, like, why you just won't take me? Like, I'm going through all of this with my family and all these people. Like, why? I didn't even deserve that, and it's so crazy because with the black families, you know, we like to sweep everything under the rug.
Yeah,
you know, it happened.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna talk about it. Hey, this how it's gonna be. So I stayed silent for some years, and I was like, man, I can't even believe some of my family members took sides with the situation. You know, they made me feel like I deserved it. You know what I'm saying? It was my nephew that did it to me. So it was like some more hurt on top of hurt, on top of hurt, on top of hurt. So what I did for myself, I reached out and I got me some counseling for everything from the beginning up until that last incident with the sexual assault. And it really helped me. It helped me. That was the best decision because at first when they came to me, I was like, I don't want no counseling. I'm good. I don't need nothing wrong with me. I'm straight. I know how to handle my emotions and all this. No, I didn't. I wasn't good. I was just putting on it, you know, dressing it up, making it look real. But I was really hurting on the inside, and I couldn't go talk to family members because you got a family divide. You got people with opinions over here. You got people with opinions over there. So I'm like, I can't go talk to them. Mm-hmm. So I distanced myself with them. And some of them I haven't talked to in 4 years.
But despite all of that, everything you just said, you did not. Here you are now. Tell us about what you got going on because you saw your way through all of that.
Yes, I did.
Still seeing your way through a lot of, because a lot of us are going through some things, and you're going to help a whole bunch of people about what you're sharing right now. So all of that you've overcome and you're still overcoming. Talk about where you are right now because I think you got a conference. You got all kinds of stuff going on. Strong black woman stuff. Well, strong queen stuff going.
Well, I can tell you this. I'm no longer broken. I'm no longer shattered. I'm no longer damaged. I am completely healed. I'm excited because I'm dropping my second book, Shattered Pieces, September the 26th. I got this conference, She Knew Her Worth, Conference 2021. This conference is like my baby. You know, it means a lot to me because I've been working on it for a while. And, you know, I get distracted. I don't want to do it. You know how we be. We'll start something, don't want to finish it. But I said to myself, it's so many women. It's just so many people that don't even know their worth. And I'm not just going to say when it comes to a man, we don't know our worth. Sometimes in friendships, business relationships, you know, it don't necessarily have to deal with a man. Mm-hmm. So I feel like this event is going to take women because we can't continue to walk through life with that victim mentality. At some point, you're going to have to deal with reality. You're going to have to look in that mirror and, you know what, this how it worked for me. Once I started getting the counseling and stuff, I looked in the mirror and I took accountability because a lot of things I caused if I would have just paid attention to the red signs. So I took myself through a lot of things as well. So when I started holding myself accountable, it's like, you know what? I did the accountability. So now I need to forgive me. Because I'm like, you know, and people will try to make you feel bad about things that you have done. I had to forgive myself for the bad decisions and choices that I made. And I've been able to move forward ever since. Can't nobody make me feel bad. Can't nobody make me feel low. I'm in a great space. I just want to help others. We are no longer prisoners of our past. We got to move past that past. We got bright futures. I want to hear women, walking into their purpose.
And what point did you get to when you said, you know what, enough of this shit? Now I gotta see what Lashaunda Hawkins is about. I mean, all this other crap, I gotta deal with me. What point
did you last year, I was in a really bad car wreck. I don't know if I told you about that when I talked. I was in a real bad car wreck, and it was bad because I almost died. And I remember being in that car. I wasn't even scared to die when my daughter's dad shot at me. I was, about their life. But it was something different this time where I was really scared to die because I knew that I wasn't ready. And the car was actually about to flip over. I wasn't the driver. It was a guy my ex that I was dating at that time. He was falling asleep behind the wheel, and I believe that he was high. Now, prior to the wreck, he had just got a ticket for going 104 in a 65. We was coming back from Florida. That was the warning. You know how people say the warning come before the destruction. Mm-hmm. And I kept asking him, I was like, look, let me drive. I got this. I'm like, nah, because you swerving. Because I was trying to take a nap on the passenger side. And I actually had just started fasting. I had started my 21-day fast. And I had already been asking God to reveal to me who is this that I'm dealing with, because it was some more things prior to this. Because I'm like, no, some things ain't right. So I had just got off of prayer, probably about 30 minutes. I was on an hour prayer, and boom, that wreck happened. It was pitch black. I remember there wasn't no street lights. We on the highway. Yeah. And it was raining. And I looked over at him, and it was too late. I was screaming, I was hollering, I was pleading, I was begging God, please don't take us in this car. I didn't have time to think about my children. I didn't have time to think about none of y'all, nobody. I was making peace with the Most High because I seen the car finna flip over. I said, it's over. It's over. So I took my arm and covered my face because I seen the car finna flip over. And in my mind, I was saying, okay, if I cover my face, well, at least my mama will be able to identify me. That's what my mind was thinking at the time. So I won't, at least my face won't be, too messed up. She'll know who I am. So I remember calling on the name of Jesus. I cannot make this up. Their car was finna flip over. But I don't know what it was on the side of their road. It was something real hard because all the damage was on my side. Mm-hmm. Nothing was on his side. All the damage was on my side. I don't know, the car just landed and spent and just went this way and just stopped. I heard my arm. I said, my arm. I kept crying. I said, my arm, my arm, my arm. I knew my arm was broke. I knew it. So my legs was jammed on the passenger side with a glove compartment. Mm-hmm. They couldn't get me out of the car. I'm like, oh, Lord, I know I'm not finna die in here. Y'all tried to get me out. He couldn't get me out. I'm like, it was a man I remember pulling over on the side of the road. And he was just telling me because I was panicking. He was like, baby girl, stay calm, stay calm, stay calm. I was panicking, I was panicking. And he called the paramedics. It took them probably like 10 minutes to come. But it took the paramedics like 25 minutes to cut me out of their car. And I remember that man telling me, he said, it have never took us this long. He said, I've been a paramedic for 25 years. He said, you lucky. And I was crying, and I said, no, I'm blessed. And I've been walking the straight path ever since. Because I seen it. I seen my life flash. So I said, if you would have seen that car, you would have been like, oh, no, and did nobody die? Because all the damage was on my side. But one thing I do know about God, see, he allowed things to happen to get our attention. That relationship wasn't for me. Because it's God still got things for me to do. So the devil thought he was finna clear me on up out of here. But God said, no, he kept his hands on me. So I've been walking a clear path ever since. That's why I'm walking into my calling on my right. I'm just ready to do what it is that God needs me to do for his people. I'm just a vessel. It's nothing to be ashamed about. We all done been through things. We all done made bad choices. We all done made mistakes. But we can't keep making these same decisions. That's why I decided to be single and celibate and focus on me and what it is that God needs me to do. In this conference, he been told me to do this conference, but because of my disobedience, see, I was disobedient. I ain't ashamed to say it. Yeah. I was disobedient. See, now he got me all to him. I could do what I need to do.
All praises to the Most High. Now tell us again the name of the book, where they can find the book, and the conference, and whatever else you got going on, because it deserves to be elevated and celebrated. Ain't that right, Cash? It's elevated and celebrated.
So the book is dropping September 26th. It's my birthday, actually. Shattered Pieces. It'll be available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. The conference is October the 23rd. Yeah, from 3 to 6. I think the address, where is it? On Hass Cross? 23rd. It's the 23rd.
You're going to give us information to Cash.
Yeah, but the conference is coming up, so I'm excited about that. Tickets are on sale, Eventbrite, or, CashApp, however people want to do it. Some people been just, that know me personally, just been, come and giving me the money. So this conference, these people going to be in for a treat. I got some good speakers. Okay. Some lives going to be changed that day. That's
what I'm talking about.
Some made up minds. Some people going to make their minds up on which way they want to go.
Yeah, because ain't but two sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to the winning side with the most side. Your ass losing if you're on the other side. Period.
Yep. So I'm so excited about that. I'm actually working with Macmillan Productions on my play. So we're about to start writing the script for the play. I'm working with Delwan Coleman on the movie. So right after the conference, I'm finna start filming the movie.
Okay.
And I'm also working with one more person. These good people I'm working with, Rock Diesel. So we all a team. We working together for the same dream, same vision for me. So I'm excited.
Good. Anything else you want to add?
Man, I'm blessed. Just remember, toxic is toxic. And I'm going to tell you something, too, because even with family, if family members toxic, you got to step away from that, too. Not just in relationships. Family members can be toxic, too.
You got to jab their ass. Stiff on them. I'll holler at you. Because I don't deal with no bullshit from nobody.
Right. You gotta let them go, too. So now I got boundaries set with them. And it's, they ain't like me. People don't like boundaries, so.
I don't give a shit. I mean, it's like I don't give a damn. That's how I'm living.
And that's my attitude. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
So y'all can follow me on Instagram, Lashaunda Hawkins, Facebook, Lashaunda Hawkins. So I'm just grateful for this opportunity to just share my story, because there's so many people be like, I ain't gonna share my story. I'm ashamed. They gonna judge me. Let me tell y'all something. They gonna judge you anyway.
Facts.
They gonna judge you anyway. Some people, I told you when I talked to you, I said I had to get somebody told because they were trying to bring up my past as a stripper. I said, you still there?
Yeah.
I don't live there no more.
Yeah.
Jesus dropped the charge. You still there.
Yeah.
It's finna be 2022. Mm-hmm. Nobody can make me feel bad about nothing I did. Me and God already discussed it, so I'm good.
That's between y'all. You and the Most High. That's it. I got you.
So that's where I'm at. I'm in a good space, headspace.
Well, Miss Lashaunda Hawkins, thank you so much for joining the Doc Holliday Show. Thanks so much for telling your story, because I'm pretty sure it's the Most High makes everything available. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
That's gonna do it for this episode of the Doc Holliday Show, where we love to uplift black men, black woman, black teen, black child. Until next time. No, thank you all for watching again, and appreciate the support. Cash, are they supporting Cash? You sure? Are you dinging and dinging? Are y'all liking and subscribing? Cash and McGowan. What the fuck you screaming? He's smiling. He got the camera on. Are they, bro? Okay, yeah, y'all are. We appreciate that. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Doc Holliday Show. Until next time.
What you cooking, Mom?